Well, first off, how do you feel like Hatch in Asheville 2010 went? And then what do you see? How do you see it evolving?
So, I mean, internally, I think the Hatch Asheville 2010 was amazing.
Hmm.
My personal experience was extraordinary. I was just honored to be working with the design and technology mentors
Sure.
for who they are outside of Hatch.
Right.
These are people that have followed and want to work with and want to engage with. So, um,
That was actually
it,
one thing that Allison had said about this festival that makes it so special, is
yeah,
just that we are able to get in a room with people that are world renowned that we would never be able to even
yeah.
get in a room with, much less get to talk to them and interact with them after seeing their presentation.
That's exactly right.
Hmm.
That's exactly right. And the truth, I tell people pretty regularly, the secret of Hatch is that you get out of it what you put into it.
Right.
And I've been a really committed volunteer since the time that we launched the idea of Hatch Asheville at Hatch
Hmm.
Bozeman 2.5 years ago.
Right.
And I've gotten an insane amount out of it, both personally and professionally. So I thought Hatch Asheville, pardon the expression, kicked ass. This
Pardon.
year, everything from the quality of the presentations through the fun in the VIP lounge at midnight, how
Oh yeah.
good the networking parties were, how
Right.
many local restaurants stepped up and provided amazing things.
Yeah.
I think a good indicator is that it absolutely kills me that I'm in charge of a discipline, because I can't go to most of the other stuff. Like on Sunday, I got to do a couple things,
Right.
but it just, I mean, it hurts when you know that
Locks
this
up your time.
architecture panel is going on at the same time that you're, prepping people for a keynote, and it's
Sure.
like, oh, man, I wish I could go to every single one of these things.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good sign. I think there's some challenges.
Hmm.
I think Western North Carolina does not do a good job of getting much out of Hatch
Hmm.
at any broader scale.
Hmm.
I think for the people who do show up, the people who do participate, the people who quote unquote get it, Hatch is this incredible, like potentially life-changing, potentially career uh, enhancing
Oh yeah.
kind of experience. But having spent a lot of time trying to be a part of an entrepreneurial economy in Western North Carolina,
Hmm.
there's some people who don't show up and some organizations that don't show up and get involved,
Right.
that I think it's disappointing. To my knowledge, Hatch 2010 had the densest concentration of world leading innovative people who are hyper connected throughout the global scene of at least in design and technology.
Right. You'd think everyone would
And
want a piece of it,
you would
to
think
witness it
you
at
would
least.
Right, you would think that the mayor and Congressman Schuler would be pounding down doors to get a business card from these people.
Right.
You would think that, and that's probably a bad example because I'm more thinking of the people whose careers are directly tied to these, designers and technologists who don't necessarily uh, show up and don't necessarily want to get involved, and that's okay. Please, I don't want to be misinterpreted as suggesting
No, no, no.
that I don't respect people's opinions or what they want to get involved in. But I think for the value of Hatch and what it brings to Western North Carolina, there should be at least twice as many people who are trying to get involved. I guess that's the bottom line.
Every single thing that I saw was just like, oh, it's actually reality bending.
Yeah,
Seeing the cutting edge of innovation in a lot of these different industries. So I feel
yeah,
really privileged to be a part of it. But I hear you too. Like, the reason I was able to get so much out of it compared to Hatch 2009 was because I got involved.
yep.
So I think
Uh,
that as far as advice goes, you hit it right on the head with that.
well, thanks. Yeah, I mean, in the technology world, we would call Hatch a platform,
Hmm.
which means you can sort of do what you want with it,
Right.
and that's a good thing to be. because it means that eventually people will figure it out,
Right.
and then, once you do it in 2010 and you realize the more you put into it, the more you get out of it,
Hmm.
it's an easy decision in 2011
Right.
whether or not you're going to get involved.
Right. Outstanding.